Fox News Business Alert, and there you have the weekly jobless claims. First time this past week, 388,000 first-time unemployment claims were filed last week. That is about 8,000 higher than they were expecting. Joining us right now with Reaction Live from Washington is Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Good morning to you, Senator.
Good morning.
What do you think about that number?
Well, it's unfortunate we have an economy that's not growing and a national debt that is, and those are the two pressing issues of our time. And the economy is not growing, jobs aren't being created because government's getting in the way. Americans haven't forgotten how to create jobs. Americans haven't forgotten how to start a business. What's standing in the way is runaway regulations and an unpredictable and burdensome tax code. And I hope we'll deal with those things. We have to deal with those things.
Surely. I know that Democrats and Republicans have started negotiating on that CR, continuing resolution on funding the government for the rest of the year. I guess the magic number right now, they're at 30, 31, 33 billion, something like that in cuts. I understand you have written an editorial for the Wall Street Journal where you say when it comes time to vote on it, you will not support increasing the debt limit. Why not?
Well, there are two separate issues. The one you're talking about is a 2011 budget, and the reason why people here in Washington are still debating the current year's budget is because the Democrats, when they controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House just a few months ago, they didn't pass a budget. They still haven't passed a budget, by the way. Senate Democrats haven't. The debt limit is something else. It's how much money, basically the line of credit, how much money the federal government's allowed to borrow. It already owes $14 trillion, and now they want more. And what I'm saying is that we shouldn't even, this debate is the perfect opportunity to talk about all the other things we need to do. Because if all we do is simply come in here and raise the debt limit and don't tackle the tax issues, don't tackle the regulatory issues, don't tackle the spending issues, it's going to start to create real concern all over the world about the direction this country's headed and the direction our economy's headed.
Well, you would say that because you're an extremist. I know that because Chuck Schumer was caught on an open phone call describing Republicans and people who are supportive of the Tea Party as extremists. What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, we are extremely concerned about the direction that our country's headed, and I think all of us should be. But let me tell you this, let me tell you what's extremist. I think what's extremist is to have a government that spends more money than it has, with no plans to change that anytime soon. I think what's extremist is to allow these regulatory agencies at the federal government to basically torment job creators and discourage people from opening businesses here. I think what's extremist is to have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. Why are we making it harder for people to open up a business in the United States and employ people? I think these things are not just extremist. I think these things are dangerous and, quite frankly, insane.
And I know you were supported by the Tea Party when you were running for Senate down there in Florida. And something else that Mr. Schumer suggested is that the Tea Party is holding Republicans like you hostage.
Well, look, I mean, ultimately, the reality is that Americans from all walks of life are concerned about the direction Washington is headed. They look at the city, they look at the people here, and they say, what's wrong with you guys? Don't you see the problems before us? Why won't you deal with them? Why are you always playing politics with everything? There are people in this building that think the most important thing in the world is their political future. Well, their political future is not more important than the future of our country. And a lot of these people have found their expression in the Tea Party movement. I think that's a positive development in American politics, and I think our leaders should not be criticizing everyday Americans who decide to express themselves through the political process.
Hear, hear. Well put. All right, Senator Marco Rubio joining us today from Washington. Thank you, sir.